Some people have started to wonder if God is truly upset with the way the world is going, and not just with a few people, but maybe even with whole countries. Some priests believe this strongly. They say that in certain parts of the world, especially where many Catholics live, people have forgotten about their faith. They have turned their backs on God, stopped praying, stopped going to church, and started living only for themselves. These priests feel that this has hurt and angered God deeply. It's not just disappointment. They believe God may be letting people see what happens when they ignore Him. Just yesterday, a terrible storm hit America, and it shocked everyone. It wasn't a normal storm. It was bigger than anyone expected. Homes were destroyed, roads were torn apart, cities were flooded, and people were left with almost nothing. It all happened so fast that many didn't even have time to prepare. After the storm passed, people were left standing in the ruins of what used to be their homes and towns, asking how this could have happened. But what's even more troubling for many is what this storm might mean. If this story made you think, or if you've been feeling the same way about everything going on in the world, we want to hear from you. Do you believe this storm was just a natural event? Or do you think it could be something more, a sign or a warning? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters, and your words might help someone else who is searching for answers. One evening, when the sun had just gone down and the sky was turning dark, something very special happened in a small town in America. The town had recently been hit by a terrible storm. The ground was still wet, trees were broken, and pieces of people's homes were still scattered everywhere. People were quietly trying to clean up and rebuild their lives, helping each other, carrying wood and broken glass, and trying to fix what they could. The air felt heavy, not just because of the storm, but because everyone was tired and sad. No one was talking, and even the birds seemed quiet. But then, in the middle of that silence, something strange and beautiful began to happen. In the town square, where people usually gathered for small events or walked with their families, a small light started to appear. At first, it was so soft that most people didn't even notice it. It looked like a tiny candle flickering far away, something that could easily be missed. But little by little, the light grew stronger. It started to shine brighter and brighter, and the warm glow spread slowly across the square. People began to stop what they were doing, confused but curious. Some walked closer. Some stood still, not sure if they should believe what they were seeing. Then, inside that glowing light, a figure appeared. It was a woman dressed in shining white. Her clothes sparkled softly, and there was a deep peace around her. The moment people saw her, many dropped to their knees without saying a word. They knew who it was. It was Our Lady, the Blessed Virgin Mary. She didn't speak with words, but her presence said more than words ever could. People could feel something deep inside them shift. They felt peace, but also something else, something urgent, like she had come to tell them something important. The longer they looked at her, the more they understood that this was not just a beautiful moment. It was a message. It was a warning. A new storm was coming, one that would be stronger and scarier than the one they had just lived through. But this time, the storm was not only about the weather. It was about the heart. It was about the way people had changed. Many had turned away from God, stopped praying, stopped going to church, and started to forget what really mattered. The storm was a sign, a symbol of how far people had moved away from their faith and their love for God. This storm was coming to wake people up, to remind them that there are consequences when they forget Him. After she appeared, the story of the vision spread quickly. It didn't stay in that small town for long. People across the country started to hear about it. Families who had not prayed in years started to pray again. Churches that were once almost empty began to fill with people. Children were taught how to say the rosary. Homes were blessed. People started to care again, not just about their houses or jobs, but about their souls. The air changed. Even before the storm came, people could feel it coming, not just in the sky, but in their hearts. The wind picked up again, and the clouds started to roll in, but this time the faithful were ready. They weren't just ready with supplies and boards for their windows. They were ready with prayer. They were ready in spirit. Then, on the 10th day after the vision, the storm arrived. It came with loud winds, strong rain, and darkness. It swept through towns and cities, shaking trees and flooding roads. People huddled together in their homes, praying, hoping, waiting, and something strange happened. The storm was strong, but in many places, the damage was less than expected. In homes that had been blessed, where families had prayed together, something seemed to protect them. Some people said they felt like someone was holding their house up, keeping it safe while everything else around them shook and broke. Others said they felt peace in the middle of the fear. They said it felt like someone was with them, even though they couldn't see anyone. When the storm finally passed, people came out to see what had happened. Some homes were damaged, some were not. But what mattered most was how people felt inside. Their faith had been tested, and many felt stronger than before. They were thankful. They were awake. They saw the storm not just as another disaster, but as a moment that helped them find their faith again. People talked about what had happened, about Our Lady's visit, about how they had changed. And even though the rain stopped and the sky became clear again, the message stayed. It stayed in their hearts, reminding them every day that they were given another chance to come back to God. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and listen to this story. Your presence here means more than you know. In a world that is moving so fast and full of distractions, it's not always easy to stop and reflect on deeper things. But you did, and that shows something special in your heart. Whether you came here out of curiosity, faith, or searching for answers, we are truly grateful that you chose to be here with us. Your support, your comments, and even just your quiet attention help keep this message alive. Together, we are building something important, a space where faith, hope, and truth can grow again. Thank you for being part of it. Please continue to share, pray, and stay close to God. We're truly thankful for every single one of you.